There's a ton of car advice out there, but let's be real, a lot of it is nonsense. You've probably heard myths like premium gas making every car run better, or warming up your engine for 10 minutes in winter. Some myths are harmless. Others? They can drain your wallet or even wreck your car. And the worst part? People still believe them. Before bad advice costs you, let's set the record straight. Stick around, because we're busting 21 of the dumbest car myths people still fall for. Myth number 21, using thicker oil for high mileage engine. Older engines, with simpler designs, could handle heavier oil. But today's engines are different. They rely on specific oil viscosity to work well. Systems like variable valve timing can fail if the oil is too thick. This leads to poor performance and expensive repairs. Modern engines also have smaller oil passages. Thicker oil struggles to flow through these, especially during cold starts. Without proper lubrication, engine wear increases, and key parts like the valve train can fail too soon. While some engine parts wear over time, many still need the exact lubrication recommended by the manufacturer. If your engine is burning oil but not leaking it, don't reach for thicker oil just yet. Instead, try a high-mileage synthetic oil. These are slightly thicker and have additives to reduce oil burn-off. Myth number 20, changing oil every 3,000 miles. The 3,000-mile oil change rule is outdated. It was common in the 1940s through the 1980s when motor oils were less advanced and engines weren't as efficient. But modern engines and synthetic oils don't need such frequent changes. Back then, oils were petroleum-based with fewer additives. Engines weren't as well sealed, and contaminants built up quickly. Changing oil every 3,000 miles made sense to prevent sludge and wear. But technology has come a long way. Today's synthetic oils are far more advanced. They last longer, resist breakdown, and provide better protection against heat and contamination. Engines also run cleaner, thanks to improved materials, better seals, and more efficient oil filters. Then, how often should you change your oil? Check your owner's manual. Most cars today recommend 5,000 to 7,500 miles, with some going 10,000 miles or more on full synthetic oil. Myth number 19, changing transmission fluid spoils the transmission. Transmission fluid, like any other car fluid, breaks down over time and requires regular maintenance. Skipping this step could cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 for a transmission rebuild or replacement. The fluid operates at temperatures between 75 degrees Celsius and 90 degrees Celsius. The hotter it gets, the faster it degrades. For every 10 degrees Celsius above 70 degrees Celsius, the fluid oxidizes at double the rate. As it breaks down, it turns into varnish and acid. These substances coat clutch surfaces and sensors, leading to serious damage over time. One of the first signs of trouble is the fluid's color. It should always be reddish. If it turns dark or black, it's already overdue for a change. Your driving habits play a big role here. If you drive short distances or on flat roads without heavy loads, you might get 70,000 miles before needing a change. But if you drive in heavy traffic, tow loads, or go through mountains, plan to change it every 40,000 to 50,000 miles. Myth 18. Using a cell phone while refueling can cause an explosion. In the past, people believed cell phones could ignite fuel vapors. However, extensive testing has shown that this is not the case. Even mythbusters tested it, and no explosion occurred. The fear originates from concerns that a cell phone's radio signal can cause a spark in loose wiring. But this theory is simply not realistic. If fuel vapors were that sensitive, any vehicle engine or radio emissions would have ignited them long before the driver used their phone. In fact, fueling station fires are more often caused by static electricity. When a driver removes the fuel nozzle, static discharge can ignite the fuel vapors. This is well documented and has been captured on video. The simple solution to prevent static sparks is for the driver to touch a metal part of the car before touching the nozzle. Myth number 17. Inflating tires to the pressure molded on the sidewall. The PSI on the sidewall tells you the maximum pressure the tire can safely handle. It's not the ideal pressure for your vehicle. Overinflating your tires can make the ride rougher, wear the tires unevenly, and reduce traction. On the other hand, underinflating them can lower fuel efficiency, make handling harder, and increase the risk of a blowout. Neither option is good for your safety or the life of your tires. The correct tire pressure is usually found in your owner's manual or on a sticker inside the driver's side door jamb. This number is carefully chosen by the manufacturer. It balances handling, braking, fuel economy, ride comfort, and tire life. For most drivers, it's the best choice. Myth number 16. Running the AC uses more gas. Modern air conditioners are surprisingly efficient, and their impact on fuel consumption is minimal. Rolling down your windows might seem like a better option, but at highway speeds, it's not. Open windows create aerodynamic drag. This means the engine works harder and burns more fuel. While this effect is barely noticeable in city traffic, it becomes significant on highways. In fact, using the AC at higher speeds might actually save gas compared to driving with the windows down. Driving without AC on a hot day, with windows closed, is just miserable. Your car turns into a sauna, and the experience is anything but pleasant. Myth number 15. Putting soap on a belt that is squealing. A squealing belt usually means it's slipping due to moisture, engine fluids, or loose tension. Soap won't fix it and can make things worse. Check the belt tension. If it's loose, tighten it. Some systems have an adjustable pulley or alternator mount, while spring-loaded tensioners may need a full replacement. If the belt is tight but still squeals, it's likely worn out. A slipping belt can overheat and lose grip. In a pinch, a few drops of brake fluid or belt dressing can help, but these are temporary fixes. It's best to address the root cause. Myth number 14. You don't need antifreeze if you live in a hot climate. Some people think you don't need antifreeze if you live in a hot climate. That's just not true. Antifreeze does more than stop your engine from freezing. It protects it in ways water never can. It contains special inhibitors that prevent corrosion and limescale buildup inside your engine. Without antifreeze, water can eat away at aluminum parts, causing them to pit and rot from the inside. Even distilled water, which avoids limescale, still causes corrosion over time. It's no better than tap water when it comes to protecting your engine. If you think running just water will save you money, think again. It might work for a while, but soon your cooling system will rust and fail. And fixing that, it's way more expensive than the cost of antifreeze. Myth number 13. Auto parts stores perform a free diagnosis for a check engine light. Auto parts stores love to advertise free check engine light diagnostics. This is a catch. These services are more about getting you to buy parts on the spot, even if those parts won't solve the real problem. Here's how it works. They'll connect a diagnostic tool to your car and read the error code. While this code points to a general issue, it doesn't always identify the root cause. For example, a code might indicate a sensor problem, but it won't tell you whether the sensor is faulty, dirty, or simply receiving bad data from another part. The service itself is basic and often incomplete. Auto parts stores won't guarantee their diagnosis, and for liability reasons, they won't tell you exactly what's wrong with your car. Their goal is simple: sell parts. This doesn't mean they're being dishonest. It's just business. The hope is that you'll buy the suggested parts and visit again for future purchases. For a proper diagnosis, consult a professional mechanic. They have the tools and expertise to pinpoint the real issue. Myth number 12, disconnecting the battery cable to test an alternator. Back in the 1970s, disconnecting the battery cable while the engine was running was a common way to test an alternator. If the engine kept running, the alternator was working. But with modern cars, this test is outdated and dangerous. Today's vehicles are loaded with computers and sensitive electronics. Disconnecting the battery while the engine is running can cause a massive voltage spike. This surge, which can reach 25 to 125 volts in milliseconds, can fry your car's computer and other expensive components instantly. Repairs from such damage can cost you thousands of dollars. If your car was made after the 1970s, it likely has a computer system. This makes the old cable disconnect test a terrible idea. Instead, use a voltmeter to check your alternator. A $20 voltmeter can measure the charging voltage in 30 seconds without putting your car at risk. Myth number 11, you don't need to warm up your car in winter. While it's true that fuel-injected engines can run without a long warm-up, giving your car a minute before driving can make a big difference. Cold starts are when the most engine wear happens. When you turn the key, oil is thick and hasn't fully circulated. It takes time for the oil to reach all the engine parts and provide smooth movement. Waiting 30 to 60 seconds lets the oil reach vital engine parts, reducing wear. You don't need to wait 5 to 10 minutes. Just a minute is enough before driving normally. Some argue that warming up a car wastes fuel and harms the environment, but replacing an engine or even the entire car creates a much bigger environmental impact. A well-maintained engine can last over 200,000 miles. Keeping it running longer is far better for the planet than sending it to a scrapyard and building a new one. For more tips, check out 9 cold mistakes that wreck your engine. A must-see before winter rolls in. Myth number 10, premium fuel is better. Premium fuel has one key difference, a higher octane rating. Regular gas has an octane level of 87, while premium starts at 91 or higher. High-performance engines need higher octane fuel to prevent premature detonation or knocking. But if your engine isn't designed for it, premium fuel won't give you extra power or efficiency. And that cleaner engine claim? It's just marketing. All gasoline, whether regular, mid-grade, or premium, contains detergents to prevent carbon buildup. Premium fuel doesn't have special cleaning properties. If your engine needs cleaning, a professional service, not a premium pump, is the solution. Oil companies can't legally claim that premium gas improves performance in engines designed for regular fuel, so they market it as a cleaner option instead. But think about it. If regular gas was dirty, wouldn't every old car on the road have clogged fuel lines? They don't. Myth number 9. If your AC is not cold, add Freon. First, Freon is a brand name for older refrigerants like R12, which was banned in 1987. Modern vehicles use different refrigerants like R134A, and adding more refrigerant isn't always the fix. Automotive AC systems are sealed and designed to run with a precise amount of refrigerant, measured by weight. Overfilling or underfilling the system reduces performance and can even damage the compressor. The only correct way to recharge an AC system is to remove all refrigerant, vacuum out moisture, and refill it with the exact amount specified for the system. This requires special equipment, not just a can from the store. If your AC is completely empty, there's a leak that must be found and repaired first. Simply adding refrigerant won't fix the problem. Also, Refrigerant alone doesn't make cold air, it moves heat. If other components, like the compressor or expansion valve, fail, adding refrigerant won't help. Myth number 8. Electric cars pollute the environment more. Some people claim that electric vehicles, EVs, pollute more than gas-powered cars. They point to battery production, lithium mining, and recycling issues. But most of this is misinformation. Yes, EV batteries require energy to manufacture, and this does produce CO2. But building a gas-powered car also produces emissions. Engines, fuel tanks, gearboxes, and exhaust systems all require materials and energy to make. The key difference? An EV offsets its manufacturing emissions within about 18 months of average driving. After that, it produces zero tailpipe emissions, while gas cars continue burning fuel and releasing CO2 for their entire lifespan. What about lithium mining? It's not as damaging as people think. Most lithium comes from salty lakes, using a process similar to salt extraction. It's abundant in the Earth's crust, and mining it is far less destructive than drilling for oil. And battery recycling? It's already happening. While lithium itself isn't the main focus, valuable materials like copper, aluminum, and cobalt are recycled. Plus, EVs are built from the same recyclable materials as gas cars: steel, plastics, and lubricants. Myth number 7. You need to tune up your car. Regular tune-ups might have been a must in the past, but modern cars don't need them. It's a myth. Older cars required frequent maintenance, replacing spark plugs, adjusting the carburetor, and fine-tuning the ignition system. But today's cars have advanced engine control modules, ECMs, that constantly adjust air, fuel, and ignition timing automatically. There's no need to tweak these systems manually. Modern ignition components also last much longer. Spark plugs, coils, and fuel injectors are designed to go for tens of thousands of miles before needing replacement. Even fuel filters, now inside the gas tank, self-clean as fuel moves around them. Myth number 6. Dealerships are better and more honest than independent shops. Dealerships have a reputation for being the best place for car repairs, but is that really true? Many car owners think independent shops aren't as skilled, don't have the right parts, or can't handle modern vehicles. It's a perceived mindset. Independent shops can access the same high-quality parts as dealerships. They can source original equipment manufacturer parts or high-quality aftermarket options, often at a lower price. Just because a dealership sells your car brand doesn't mean they're the only ones who can fix it. What about technology? Not only dealerships can handle modern computer-controlled vehicles, your neighborhood mech can. Reputable independent mechanics stay up to date with the latest tools, VIN scanners, and digital diagnostic software. They receive the same technical training and know how to work on the latest car models. And let's talk cost. Dealerships almost always charge more for labor and parts. Many independent shops offer the same quality service for less, in fact, with better customer service. Myth number 5. Filling up gas in the morning saves money. You may have heard the myth. Filling up your gas tank in the morning saves you money. The logic is that cooler mornings make fuel denser, so you get more gas for the same price. While it sounds clever, it's completely false. Fuel at gas stations is stored in underground tanks. These tanks are buried deep enough to maintain a constant temperature throughout the day. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, the fuel's density doesn't change. Pump meters are calibrated to deliver the correct amount of fuel at a standard temperature, so the time of day has no impact on what you're getting. That said, cooler mornings do have one environmental benefit. Cooler air reduces the release of fuel vapors, which is better for the atmosphere. But if you're thinking it'll save you money, it won't. One thing to be cautious about is overfilling your tank. If you fill up with cool fuel and park in the sun, the fuel can expand as it warms. This might cause minor overflow. Fill up whenever it's convenient. Gas is gas, morning, noon, or night. Don't fall for this outdated myth. We've busted some wild myths, but these last 4 are crazy. Before we jump in, hit subscribe, like, and share. Myth number 4, women are worse drivers than men. We hear it all the time. Women are terrible drivers. But what real evidence supports this stereotype? Let's start with safety. Women are statistically safer drivers than men. That's why they pay lower insurance rates. Men are more likely to speed, take risks, and get into serious crashes. But what about driving skill? This is where things get more complicated. Some studies show that men perform better on driving tests and park faster and more accurately. Women, on the other hand, are more likely to get distracted while driving, leading to minor accidents. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine 2 investors. One takes big risks and earns great returns, but loses everything in a market crash. The other plays it safe, earns less, but never loses his money. That's how driving works too. Men take more risks and crash harder, while women drive more cautiously and have fewer severe accidents. Myth number 3, fuel additives improve mileage and engine performance. Fuel additives promise a lot: better mileage, cleaner engines, and more power. But here's the truth. Most of it is marketing hype. If additives truly worked wonders, fuel companies would already include them in their gasoline. After all, it would give them a massive competitive edge. But they don't, because the benefits are minimal at best. Some additives claim to clean your fuel system: tank, lines, pump, and injectors. While they may help in some cases, the effects are usually temporary. Plus, the cost of buying these products often outweighs any minor fuel savings. Then, there are additives that claim to clean cylinders, pistons, and exhaust valves. These claims are even harder to prove. Real-world tests rarely show significant improvements. In most cases, you're paying for results you'll never notice. Talking of octane boosters, these are some of the biggest offenders. They promise extra power, but rarely make a real difference. The performance gains are always exaggerated. Myth number 2, manual transmissions save more gas. It used to be true. Manual cars were more fuel efficient. They were simpler, gave drivers more control, and avoided the energy loss of early automatic transmissions. But that's not the case anymore. Modern automatics have caught up, and in many cases surpass manuals in fuel efficiency. Newer automatics come with advanced technology like continuously variable transmissions, CVTs, dual clutch systems, and optimized gear ratios. These systems shift gears more efficiently than a human ever could, making every drop of fuel count. Today, many modern automatics outperform manuals at the pump. They adjust in real time for better mileage, while a manual driver relies on experience and instinct to shift at the right time. The technology has evolved, and so have the ways we save gas. Myth number 1, maintaining your own car is complicated or dangerous. Car manufacturers and repair shops want you to think working on your car is complicated, that you need expensive tools, advanced computers, and expert skills. But that's just not true. Most car maintenance is simple. Rubber and plastic wear out. Fluids leak. Potholes mess things up. These are the real issues, not some hidden computer failure. Yes, modern cars have computers, but they rarely break. Most repairs? They're basic. Changing fluids, replacing worn-out parts, tightening connections. It's not as hard as they make it seem. If you can fix a bike, swap a phone battery, or change a fridge filter, you've already got the skills to handle simple car fixes. Oil changes, air filters, spark plugs, checking fluids, easy stuff. And if you're unsure, there are tons of guides and videos to walk you through it. Diagnosing issues is also easier than ever. A cheap OBD2 scanner plugs into your car and tells you what's wrong. Want to know more? Check out our video. 13 car maintenance tips mechanics don't want you to know. It's packed with simple tricks that can keep your car running longer and your wallet fuller.